Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Dishing with Diamonds. Before we get started, y'all know I have to do our disclaimer, and that's simply that what we are about to talk about is our experience. We are not making any health claims. We are not making any financial claims. Simply the story we're sharing is that of our own experience. And so now, without further ado, I just love introducing my friends that I get to do this business with. And we have Addie King with us today, y'all. She is precious and always. Hey, Addie.
No.
So Addie has agreed to share some of her time with us today, and we just get to know her more. She gets to share some of her journey with us, as well as share some of her wisdom that she's learned along the way in her Plexus journey. And so, Addie, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you for having me. I'm glad to share.
Absolutely. Well, we're just going to get right into it. And my first question for you is, tell me about what life looked like for y'all before Plexus.
Well, I think, do I have to go back there, right? We were at a pretty hard place before Plexus. So my husband is in ministry, just to give you a little idea about us and who we are. We've been married for 17 years, but we've been in ministry together for 19 years. And so we have 4 sweet kiddos. They are 13, 11, and I have twins that are 9. And so we have just had a lot of hardship, definitely financially. I always say, and it's so true, you don't really go into ministry and be like, "Ooh, I'm going to go make a lot of money," right? It's not really how that works. And so we were just at a really hard place. And also, I was very, very unhealthy. And when I say that, a lot of people think physically. I was unhealthy physically, but we were just really out of alignment in a lot of different areas in our life. And so, we actually, when we had our babies, we were on WIC. I mean, we lived off of welfare. We just struggled so much, and through the struggle, I just became so weary from it all. So not only did I allow myself to go just physically, and then trying to keep up with all my babies, and then ministry and all that on top of it, but just everything in life was so hard. And so we really didn't know what the future looked like. We just thought this struggle was always going to be there. And it was just life. It was just what God had for us. And so never in a million years would I have thought anything like Plexus, that I would have done that. First of all, network marketing, right? Simply because I was uneducated about that. And so, but then, as I began to pray, I don't really remember praying specifically for it. I just remember asking the Lord for help. Like, please just help us. I don't know what the future likes. Like, how we're going to put all these kids through college. Your mind goes there, even though they're little. But I just remember the cry for help coming from my heart. And lo and behold, here comes this amazing opportunity. So,
wow. Oh, I feel like I started to get teary-eyed, and I do this almost weekly because everybody's story is so different. And, just hearing, you said some key words that really touched my heart. You said that you were unhealthy in a way of being out of alignment. And I think, gosh, how many people out there could connect with that statement, really feel you in that. And then also just the cry for help, not knowing what that looked like. Obviously, because I feel like so many of us were obtuse to network marketing. I've shared this story with this team, but I don't know that I've had an opportunity to share it with you. I didn't even know that Plexus was network marketing when I first tried the products. Literally, I was buying. So Celeste introduced me. I bought from Jen Hawkins because I'm one of those that Celeste referred. And I thought Jen's grandpa made Plexus. Like, why? I don't know. Like, I just thought it was a family business. I thought, they're stirring up powder in their basement. Like, I literally didn't know. So who introduced you? How did you get introduced to Plexus?
Well, actually, Celeste. Celeste is my sponsor. And so Celeste and I went to college together. And we weren't really good friends in college, but, we knew each other, her and Jen and Suzanne and that whole group of girls. And so I was Facebook friends with her, which is funny because I was Facebook friends with all of those girls and some of my other friends from college who are a part of Plexus. And I just happened to see her post first. And I really just asked her about it. I was just at such a low place, and I really honestly just wanted to be skinny because I was the biggest I'd ever been. And at that point, health was not a priority to me. And so I didn't care. I always say, thank goodness it was good for me because I didn't care what it was. I was like, just make me skinny, right? Because I was just that desperate is what I was. And so she had posted one day on Facebook, and I remember seeing it, and I thought, I have never heard of that before. But I've tried everything else, so I might as well try this. And so I actually joined as an ambassador for wholesale. Mm-hmm. Of course, not having any idea what that meant. I ordered the wrong welcome pack. Like, it took me a month and a half to get started. I didn't know what I was doing. And really, Celeste had only joined about 3 months before I did. And so, she was just learning it all as well. So it's kind of funny to go back and look at it now and think, we really didn't know what we were doing, did we? Which is crazy, but shows you the power of our products too, I think. So
absolutely. Anyway. I say for me, so I'm one of the mamas at the private school, and yeah. I say really for me, Celeste validated the business side of it for sure. And she was walking proof of the products, and not only was Celeste taking it, but a couple other girls mamas at the school. And I saw them looking healthier. They had this glow about them. And for me, it wasn't as much about, from a physical standpoint, I just wanted in on it. Like, I just thought, these girls look great. I work out every day. But I don't look like that. So what's up? And so nobody was dying. Everyone was looking better. And I just wanted to in on it.
I know, right?
Right? Yeah. So you signed on as a wholesale user, not, like you said, naive. Like, I think back in that day, we didn't have a compensation chart we had a compensation chart, but nobody knew what it looked like financially to be a diamond.
We didn't understand it. Yeah.
Because there were no diamonds at the time.
Yeah.
I think Sheila Medina ranked a diamond in May of 2014.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I joined in April of 2014. It sounds like you were somewhere, in the summer of 2014?
I actually joined in June of 2013.
13. Oh, wait, 13. Yeah, me too. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Mixed up too, so I totally get it. But yeah, I joined in June of 2013, but I didn't really even start really working the business until September, October. And so because I really didn't understand it all. I didn't even understand it was network marketing either, just because out of ignorance. And that's what I tell people. I'm like, because I didn't know what I had seen in network marketing was not anything I wanted to be a part of, how it had been done before. But my mom had actually done a network marketing company before. And so she was like, she's the one that told me, I think there's something to this. Like, we should probably really jump in there and try to make this happen. So, yeah, it's so funny to think back.
Is your mom on your team?
She is, yeah. She was my first ambassador, and she is a senior Ruby. She has been I think she ended up joining a month after I did, after I got my stuff. And so anyway, it's kind of funny because she swore she would never do network marketing again, but she never had another product that changed her life, so it obviously makes a big difference. But yes, she is a part of my team, which I love so much. So
that's so great. Well, I've always said I have not given up hope. Nobody in my family has joined me yet.
Yes.
But my mom is my best customer. I mean, she's been with me since day one. I think if anything, because she like, well, we want to build her confidence. I'll go ahead and be her customer. But she's stuck with me, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
So you joined. It took you a couple months to get started. So walk us through the rest of your journey.
So I really, when I started Plexus, I didn't have immediate results. But I really intended, my whole goal with it was just to lose weight. I just need to lose weight. I don't care about anything else. And I was actually on some medications that I had no clue that Plexus might be able to help me help with my issues through our products instead of medications. And so my first month, I began to rest better. And I used to take a sleep aid to help me with that. And so I stopped taking that, and I thought, what in the world? I was just trying to lose weight, and then in my second month, I was able to come off of another medication, which really blew my mind. And in my third month, I finally started losing weight. Well, that would have been in July, August, September. That would have been in, I think at the end of September, I started losing weight. So I remember in October going, okay, there's something to this. It's different than anything else I've ever tried. So I really just started telling my friends about it. I actually did nails in the salon before Plexus. And so I had a lot of customers, but I am not a sales girl. And when I say that, I truly mean that. I didn't even share it with my customers or face-to-face with those people until about December. I shared on Facebook, which I loved because I thought, we teach our team not to do this, but I could hide behind Facebook, right? And I didn't have to talk to anybody face-to-face. And I always dreaded the awkward, oh, I don't want to, okay, well, now what do I do? Is this weird every time you see me? I always struggled with that. And so finally, I remember in December, I went senior gold, and I remember thinking on Christmas Day, and I thought, okay, this is something to this, and you see that paycheck and you're like, okay, this really could be something. So at that point, I began to share with everybody because I saw it help so many people and change so many people's lives physically. The stories that I would read and then the results that my customers had was just simply blowing my mind. So I almost felt convicted that I wasn't sharing with the people right in front of me because, you tell your nail tech everything, right? Or your hairdresser. So I knew a lot of stuff about my customers and knowing how bad they needed my products. And I was too scared to share them with them simply out of selfishness. I didn't want to be embarrassed. I didn't want the awkwardness. So once I got past that, I was like, okay, I need to realize that I have hope to offer these people. So I began to share and I began to share with the people around me as well. And I had already talked to my friends, with your friends, you can say, hey, I'm starting this new journey. I don't really know what it looks like, but you want to jump on board. And I had a few people that did that. And I actually had gotten some runners pretty quick. So I ended up going Emerald by May of 2015. So it took me about 9 to 10 months. I don't remember the exact day my first post was, so I can't say the exact amount of time, but then I got to Emerald really not knowing what I was doing. And I don't say that lightly because I feel like some people work really, really hard and they know what they're doing. And so I respect that so much with people, and they still have such a hard time getting to a certain rank. But I truly didn't know what I was doing. And so once I got to Emerald and then we went to Hawaii that first year, Sarah Marble shared her story, and she talked about how it took her, I think, 7 months to get to silver, and then she got emerald, and then 17 months or 16 months to get to sapphire. And I thought, okay, because I hit it in May. Well, this was September, and I had so much momentum so fast that I was like, what is wrong? What am I doing wrong? Well, fact was, I didn't know what I was doing. I had come up on this accidental business, and so, excuse me. Anyway, and so I began to really dig deep and work on a lot of self-development and just figure out network marketing in general. And then I began to work my business like a network marketing business. And I was at Emerald for 15 months, which is my favorite part of my journey, which is kind of funny. People are like, really? And I said, yes, because I can tell you I grew so much during that 15 months in just business-wise, but spiritually and just in a lot of different ways, and learning how to work with people and different people with different personalities, just learning so much of what all that looked like. And then, so I really fought hard for Sapphire. And I hit Sapphire 15 months later, and then I lost Sapphire the next month. And then I got it back, and then I ended up hitting Diamond in 6 months from then. So it took about 2.5 years for me to hit Diamond. Which I feel like is fast and not normal, really, now, I feel like. I always tell people I was committed to 5 years. And I thought, okay, if I can do this for 5 years, if I can hit the top of the company in 5 years, which is still really soon, by the way. I always tell people you can't go to the bank and become a teller and be the president and, or the top of the whatever in 5 years, right? So anyway, and so the fact that it happened in 2.5 years is pretty mind-blowing. But I do have an amazing team, and I know that I work hard, but I do know that my team is why I am where I am. So anyway, I think I kind of derailed there on that answer, but
no, it was perfect. I think that the beauty of what we do here is we get to hear your heart, we get to hear your story, and there is so much validation and connection for those that get, take the time to watch this back. So I appreciate derailment or not, I think it was perfect. So we know you've shared in your journey that you absolutely have had ups, and we know that there are challenges in this business, and we call those sometimes valleys or even downs. How do you stay motivated in this?
I think for me, I'll be honest, I feel like success keeps me motivated. Now, success can be defined different, I think. Some people define success in reaching goals. I define success in watching people succeed, whether it be in their, and how they just having success with our products, my customers, or people reaching goals on my team. But I love hearing how our products change people's lives. Like, it is what keeps me going, because it's really what it all boils down to, right? And so if I have a downtime, or like during that time of my Emerald to Sapphire journey, I had to go to the testimonial pages a lot, which I think we had more than, and read stories a lot, because I remember those quiet months of like, what am I doing wrong? And I really, once I kind of understood network marketing and understood how it worked, I kind of got in the groove of working. Like, I understood what I was doing, but I just think I didn't have a new runner yet, And it really boils down to that a lot to me. I know a lot of people don't say that. They say it depends on you. Well, it does depend on you. You have to work your tail off. But at the same time, if you don't have any runners, it's hard. It's hard to fight through. And so anyway, but back to staying motivated, I just really try to find success in every kind of area and keep that at the top of, in the front of my mind. So if I'm not seeing that in my downline and I'm not seeing growth there, or I may reach out to a sideline friend and say, hey, tell me about your team. Like, what's it doing? And to see someone else have success in that is encouraging to me. And then same thing with my customers. I'll reach out to a customer. Hey, how are you liking your products? Well, I love them. I mean, I still feel so good. That's just very, very motivating to me. So
I love that. And, I encourage that for anybody who chooses to watch this back, is to find those stories. Like you said, maybe they're not as readily available out there, but we all have connections within this beautiful world of Plexus that we can just say, hey, would you share your journey with me so far? And I personally think that that's where we grow, is in that connection with the stories. I know for us, especially here in this Collin County area, that's really where we grew. We had meetings and we told our story, and then we, get new customers or new ambassadors. And that's literally, I feel like it was kind of a grassroots effort in many respects.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Do you have either a scripture or a verse or a phrase that you lean on to keep you either grounded, motivated, I think grounded or motivated, or inspired even?
Yes. So I always tell people this, and it's kind of funny because people usually expect, because I'm a pastor's wife, they're like, oh, give me your favorite Bible verse, or expect me to quote a big chapter or something like that. I'm like, actually, I do have a Bible verse, but what I love the most is I went to a John Maxwell conference one time, who I just love and adore because he's just so fabulous. And anyway, when I was at that conference, I remember walking in, and I've really been struggling with what does this look like? What is this really about? It's about helping people, and we know that. But I think sometimes we just say that because we're supposed to say that, right? It's not that it's a bad intention of the heart, but I think sometimes it just becomes, we're helping people. It just becomes what we say. Mm-hmm. Well, I remember going to his conference, and they said there, they said, it was this video, and I can't even remember what it was about. I just remember this phrase at the end. They said, you have to continue, or you have to remember to make it about the soul and not the sale. And I was like, that's it. That's exactly what it is. If I can continue to focus on the person and the soul and digging into their life, and not focus on the sell or what I need to rank up or all that stuff, not let that be the front of my focus, then I know that I will be successful at this. And the more I deal with people and with my team, and learning to lead my team, and I just think, it's really important that we keep their soul in the front of all things. If I reach out to my team and ask personally, how you doing today? Don't talk to me about Plexus. I want to know where they're at in life. Mm-hmm. I just feel like it's the same thing in life in general, in friendship or whatever that looks like. It all looks the same. And if we can focus on the soul and and tap into their life, and they're going to see that we truly care, I just think that builds a trust is a whole different ballgame, so.
I think that's absolutely gorgeous, and you're right. I think there are times that we know that we're helping people, but it just becomes something we regurgitate versus embedding that back in our hearts of why we got started. So many times I see people join this business because they have felt better. They have the opportunity to help other people feel better. And then along the way, they leave us because it became about something else. Mm-hmm. It became about, I didn't rank fast enough, or I should be further along than I am. Yeah. And so the answer for them is quit. And so then my question before they leave is, what did this become about for you? Because I know when you started, it was about you feeling better. You're being able to get people to feel the same way you feel. And somewhere along the lines that changed. And so I absolutely adore what you said, that it's about the soul and not the sale. I mean, what precious words to remember and even write down and put it somewhere that you can see it every day, because it is easy and normal, by the way, to lose sight of that, because it can become about something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Right?
And like you said, it's not the heart's intention. It's just life, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think sometimes, success can really become about something else. When you begin to see success in life, I think sometimes, you lose maybe what you once had, whether that's humility, or you just have to be real careful with all of that. But, on another side of that, I do explain to people too, with that statement, I feel like sometimes the sale is the key to the soul. I have people reach out to me about Plexus that I don't even know, just because they know that I'm a part of Plexus. And so that allows them, there's the sale bringing them into my life. Okay, now I can talk to them about Plexus and get into their life and lead it to their soul, and get to know the person. So I think it's really cool how you can look at it, either way. And it just kind of works, both ways.
You can flip that around, but still use it to the good.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love that. So let's talk about some business tips. What can you share with this team in regards to maybe your top 3 business tips?
My number one thing that I tell people is don't wait to share. I mean, when you join, start sharing quick. I think that's probably I have a few of my biggest regrets when I started. And it was just because I didn't understand it. But at the same time, had I had known to tell everybody I know the day I signed up, I think I'm at a great place in Plexus, but I would be even in a better place. I have people that are sideline friends that I knew. I have one girl who she's a jewel and just precious, and obviously God places everybody where he wants them to be, but she always laughs and says, if I'd have known, I'd have jumped on board with you. And I'm like, oh, don't say that stuff to me. Sure. But I didn't share at first. And so I just think that it's really important that you share right up front. Even if you don't understand it all, people are so understanding. And that's what I tell my people when they join. My other tip is learn about the products. Learn about the products, learn about network marketing. And you're learning at the beginning, and people are understanding of that. So don't be afraid to share just because you don't know everything you need to know the first day. I'm still learning, 3.5 years later. And so, but yeah, definitely learn about network marketing at the beginning. If you don't understand it, because it will change what you do and how successful you can be in Plexus. And then learn about the products, obviously, everything you can. I remember when I first started staying up so late at night and watching all these videos and trying to learn all this different stuff about the products, because it doesn't come natural for me. know a lot of that stuff. And so I don't know the scientific, of all that. And so I had to really work hard on that. But I do think that that's really, really important. The third thing I've already said is to keep it about the soul. Keep the person and who they are in front of you and not so much the goal. I know, and I say that for some people, and this is what I've learned so much about is, some people are so goal driven, which I am not one of those people. I love goals. I write them down and I shoot for them, but I don't feel like I've failed if I didn't reach them. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to the next month. Let's put it behind us. What are we doing next to get there this month? But some people really struggle with that. And the people that are very goal oriented tend to deal so much with defeat. And sometimes it can turn into this, well, I didn't hit the goal, I'm a failure and whatever. And I think sometimes we forget about the soul of the person in the midst of that. I mean, that can look different in a lot of different ways. It's just an example. So anyway.
That's great. And I loved all the tips. For me, I love that you said, don't wait to share, like share right away, and then learn about the products. And of course, I love, it's about the soul, of course, but learning about the products, I think, was so huge for me. It was absolutely part of my daily routine when I was working my business. I mean, I will share that the very first catalog I ever got my hands on, now comparatively, it's so juvenile in regards to its information and what was in it. And
I know, right?
Today our catalog is truly just a gorgeous piece of media. Back then it was helpful, and it showed our products and it's part of our evolution. But it was literally like a loved Bible. Pages were crimped, notes were made, highlights, Post-it notes, because it literally is what I lived off of when I communicated with my customers and even new ambassadors, and watching videos and just learning all I could about this wonderful world of Plexus.
Yeah.
So become an expert for sure. But give yourself that grace that you don't need to know it all, because it's kind of like when you go to a restaurant and you've got the new waitress or waiter in training. You kind of, you all of a sudden are rooting for them, and it's okay if they mess up your order because they're new. And I feel like it's the same thing with us, especially when we're first starting and it's our warm market.
Yeah.
These are the people that love us most, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I am not a details person, and so it's kind of humorous that I have these next questions, but if you're like me, you kind of estimate these numbers. So how many people have you personally sponsored on your journey?
The whole journey?
Yes.
Well, I don't know about the whole journey, but I probably total level ones. I would say maybe 65, 70.
Okay. And then
I used to have a lot of PV when I started. Like I would carry anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 in PV every month. And so,
hang on, let me let everyone just take that in for a second, because I know, like you, I carried a high PV, and especially my first probably 6 months or so. Yeah. And y'all, that number's not necessarily normal, but it's part of Addie's journey. It's part of her story, and so glean from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was also, and I'm honest with this, I was the first person in my network of people to ever find Plexus, so when I shared it with my friends, when I tell you none of my friends had heard of it. And so obviously that worked in my benefit, right? And we were in ministry. We are in ministry, so we've lived in 4 or 5 different states, so I had people to pull from everywhere, which shows the power of Facebook, and when you share on there as well. So, but yeah, I think that's probably how many I've sponsored total. And I used to carry a high PV, but now I don't carry as high of a PV, unfortunately. But I have a larger team. But now I have about 35 active level ones. Okay. I have 10 that really, I have 12 that work it, but 10 level ones that really get after it. And probably 6 or 7 of those have been with me from the very beginning.
Okay. So those are Addie's numbers. Is it too personal to ask about where your PV lands nowadays?
Oh, well, I mean, I always shoot for 500. Like right now, I think it's like 450. Okay. So I'm about $50 shy. Yeah.
And I like to share that because I like to show the evolution of, high PV to where we land today. Like I tell people all the time, my PV was like you. I was up there. I was, between $7,000 and $10,000 a month when I started my Plexus journey. Today, I operate on two separate legs, the juggle, and one of my legs I run about 1,000. Like this month, I'm at 982 on the first leg, and then my second leg I'm at 860. So I try. Like you, I shoot for 500. To still to take advantage of that 25%. However, it's the juggle of running two legs, and but it is always about having customers. And
yeah, absolutely. And at this point in my business, I have so many. Well, let me say this. Let me back up. All those people that are wholesale people. Out of my 35 people, you only have 10 that really work hard, but majority of those people have been with me since the beginning. They're just basically customers that have never left. And so, but I think now I have more people that want to join and try at least the business side than I do as customers because of my success.
Yeah.
They'll come to me and say, okay, I've watched you do this. Apparently it's not a fad, right? Because you're like in it to win it, apparently. And so I want to try and make at least $500 or $1,000 a month. So I really, when people join me, I get more people that join to work the business, and at least their goal is to make $300 to $500, So
that's awesome. Well, and wow, I love what you just said there. And I hope our group catches this. $300 to $500. Yeah. I mean, that can be a big game changer for people, right? I mean,
yes.
And I tell people all the time,
yeah, my second check was like $350. It sold me. I mean, I was like, I'm in it. Like that's where I knew that the money was really going to happen. So yeah, absolutely can be a game changer.
Because I get so many times people caught up in, I know these influencers and they would just make amazing jewels of the company. I mean, they really could take this places. And I'm like, that is awesome. You want those people. But include on that list of 100, your Frank's list, who that could benefit from $100 to $500 a month. Like, don't just focus on the influence or who you perceive as an influencer,
right? Because
that person that's impacted by $100 or $300 a month could all of a sudden become your next jewel.
Mm-hmm. It's so true, and I think it's so important that we make it realistic. If I walk up to somebody and tell them my income, they're like, well, whatever, I'm happy for you. I could never do that. Right. I mean, it doesn't make it realistic to them. But if I tell someone, I can really help you make a good $300 to $500 a month with this company, they're like, oh, I mean, I don't know. The numbers just make it, I think, more relatable. And so I do think we have to, when we've been successful, we're making really good money, we have to be careful just shooting those numbers out there, because I probably had more people walk away from me that I've shared that than I have joined me. And so now, of course, I share it, if they ask me, but I just think making it at a doable number is a lot more than shooting well, my upline makes this money, or something like that. I just don't think it's relatable.
No, it's not. I think it can be intimidating, for lack of a better word. All right, sweet friend, tell me, and you've shared so much wisdom with us, but what is a lesson that you've personally learned on this journey?
Oh, there's lots of. I think the thing that I've probably learned the most, which is funny because being in ministry, we deal with people a lot, but I've never dealt with people in the business world. And so I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is just dealing with people with different personalities and how there's really no set way to do anything. You do it with the gifts that God's given you and your strengths and how it works for you, and be okay with that. You may want to work your business the way another person does, but the fact is it may not be your gift. It may not be the way you've been wired to work your business. And so I think and also just knowing who I am. I felt like I always knew who I was, but when you become successful in a business like this, you know, you're kind of put on a pedestal, and people think you've got it all together, and I don't. Like, I really don't. And so I just think knowing who you are and being very real with people is something that this has taught me to always be that way, you know? So
that is so very wise. So very wise. And so you can watch videos all day long and you can learn concepts and strategies, but really at the end of the day, it's about being yourself, and it's about getting into action and knowing who you are and learning people, right? Learning to love people and genuinely.
And just like appreciate and respect differences. You know, some of my key leaders on my team, we are wired completely different, but I love it because we teach each other. I mean, as long as you're teachable, I think you deal with that better, because I can learn so much from them and they can learn so much from me. You know, it's just a good balance. So really, when I'm looking for somebody for my team, I'm going to look for somebody different than me, not like me. Because I don't need anybody. I mean, I do have people like me, but the people that are not like me are the people that, you know, bring a different everything to my team.
Probably stretch you more too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. For sure. Yeah.
So this is my last question for you. And we always like to end on a fun note. So we know from the compensation chart that there's financial blessings in Plexus. What is something fun or something in your heart? I'm trying to find the best way to word this question. I think when I sent it over to you, I said, what is a splurge that you've been able to do with your diamond salary? But, you know, for that splurge looks different to different people. And so I just want you to speak from your heart, something that that excites you that you've been able to do since becoming a diamond.
Well, there's a lot of things that I never thought we would be able to do. I would say one of my favorite things is, well, obviously we're able to give more than we've ever been able to give. We were, like I said, we were in ministry, or we are in ministry, but we were always the receiver for so long, you know, and people are so sweet and generous, you know, when they see the struggle and you have all these kids, right? They're like, oh Lord, what do we do for them? Just give them some money, right? Sometimes that's hard to receive though, because you're like, oh my goodness, look at us as this little sad little family that can't pay for all these kids. So anyway, but being on the giving end of that and not always the receiving is really a neat place to be, when you never thought that would be possible. I mean, we've always given, but being able to give more than just this little amount, which means the same thing as a big amount, right? From the heart. But anyway, I just really love being able to do that. Also, we've been able to take our kids to Disney World, which was so fun. And literally the very first thing on my bucket list, when we had really made money with Plexus, that was the first thing that I wanted to do. I probably should have paid off some bills, just going to keep it real, but who wants to do that, right? So we just went to Disney World. So we were able to take our kids to Disney World, and it is I know that they loved it, but it is my most favorite memory that we have ever had in our life. And so that's probably my most favorite thing for sure. And so we've also, let me throw this in there too, we've also been able to purchase a camper, which was my husband's dream forever. He grew up doing that, always wanted to have a camper. But me, not growing up doing that, I was like, okay, if we do this, I'm not going to sleep in a tent. Call me a brat or whatever you want to, but I can't do it. If I'm sweating, nobody around me wants to be around me, right? And so anyway, so we were able to purchase a new camper, which is a lot of fun, you know, and just creates so many memories. So
you're such a good wife. I think, okay, so most men that I've met, they have this fantasy of being out on the road on some type of moving home type vehicle.
Yeah, what is that? Like,
I know.
Funny. And so now we're going to Yellowstone this summer. We're going to take a 10-day trip, and he is so excited, and I'm really having to gear myself up for it. I'm like, I may need a hotel just one day, because I don't know if I can handle all our people up in that camper for 10 days.
Well, I'm going to be praying for you. You're going to have to let me know those dates because I will seriously be in some bold prayer for you. But I know that y'all are going to make some amazing memories. I totally kid about it because I think it is absolutely one of my husband's dreams to buy an RV and head out on the road and, you know, just enjoy that lifestyle. And Mom is just, you know, I'll go because I'm a team player, but you know, like you, it's kind of like I have to gear up for that.
I'm just here for support. That's what I'm like. I'm just here for support.
I'm just here to help make your dreams come true. Yeah. Anyways, you are so sweet. Thank you so much for sharing your time. You know, I've always liked you, Addie, but just to be able to spend this time with you and to hear your heart, for you to share your experiences, but in such a transparent way means so very much. And I know that our team that gets to watch this back is just going to fall in love with you and as importantly, glean so much from this time that you've shared with us. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for that.
Yeah, I appreciate you allowing me and trusting me to share my heart with your team. So I just adore you as well. And I'm honored to be on here today and to share with you guys. So,
well, thank you so much. And thanks everyone for tuning in. And until next week, you enjoy yourselves, do amazing things, be a difference maker. And as always, go Plexus.
Bye.